This week, we're fishing around, searching for clips, and having a clear out. Hello and welcome to 24/7 The Unseen Bits. Yes, just like a proper TV show, we've had to cut things out for time. And so here's a brand new episode full of all those things you've not seen before. It was classic The One Show on Monday with this hard-hitting item.
Right, it's time to get serious, okay? Because if you believe the weather forecasters, this week could be your last chance before winter to get out and paint your garden fence.
Yeah. See, everybody always laughs at things like that, but for me, that's kind of top of my weekend job list. I've got a fence, seriously, I've got a shed to do, and I've got a climbing frame.
Fantastic. And who better to deliver such a consumer VT than man of the people and the BBC, Dominic Littlewood? Dom was testing 4 different paint sprays and he needed someone to help him.
To find out if they're any better than a humble paintbrush, I've come to the Royal Botanic Gardens in Edinburgh to meet shed and fence expert Neil Baxter.
Yeah, how do you become a shed expert? How do you get the qualifications in that? Still, he is an expert, but who was going to be doing the spraying? Well, of course, this was the One Show, so they couldn't just get a load of gardeners in. Let's see who they decided to choose.
I'm not getting my mitts dirty. Oh no, I've enlisted the help of some local professionals. Yes, a team of fake tan spraying beauticians from Edinburgh College.
Brilliant. Beauticians? That is quite frankly genius. Dominic Littlewood seemed to be getting excited, building up to the event like some sort of sporting occasion.
What about these fence panels? How do you feel?
Right, I know what you're thinking. Let's see the results.
Is this how you do your tanning?
No.
I'm glad as well, looking at that.
What are you woo-hooing for? Look at the state of that. Looks like you plastered it, not painted it.
Did she just throw the bucket full at the fence or something? Looks alright, Steve.
In today's challenge, the quickest sprayer with the least splatter was the Ronseal Precision Finish, our most expensive gadget. But good luck cleaning that up.
At least one of you will be fired or hung out to dry, like one of those things there.
This week's task was marketing some Japanese-made jeans using some billboards and TV advertisements. The boys' team started off well enough, but were struggling to come up with a name.
What else we need? We need brand name.
I thought Ichiban was a good name. I don't know if that fits.
Ichiban, Itchy Jeans.
I just don't know what it means.
Sometimes, though, you just need to take a little bit of a break from the stresses and the strains of the Apprentice task. And how do you do that?
Clunk, clunk. Diddle.
Beep, 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 It's really invigorating. I wondered when they were recording them, where exactly were they going to be used? It's not a child's product, you can't really fit them into the advert. What were they going to do with them? The clangers. Yeah, they basically just played them at random in their technologically snazzy bus shelter.
Did you tear your jeans?
They hardly ever tear. They're day jeans.
Mine too.
Hey, a perfect fit.
What a slogan. They hardly ever tear. I mean, really, they only need to tear once for it to be a bit of an issue if it's a big enough tear. After a particularly poor task, though, Sugar was reluctant to award either team the victory and therefore decided to bring everyone back in again, which is quite unprecedented for this particular task. Eventually, though, someone had to go.
But for a potential business partner of mine, Natalie, you've been a bit quiet, you've not been pushing yourself forward. It is regretful, it is only the second week. But, Natalie, you're fired.
And I thought this was an interesting production decision as well.
This could be the end of everything.
He's taken them to somewhere with a stage and they just stood in front of it.
Somewhere only we know.
And by Thursday, the group were all still getting on well. A bit too well.
It's like a dysfunctional family because we're all so different, yet we're all so tight.
And I think I really enjoyed actually today because everyone's just getting that little bit more close where certain conversations are coming out now where people feel comfortable just like exposing themselves a bit more in front of everyone.
Well, I mean, I know you're getting on well, but there's no need for that. There's Larry Lamb in there, for goodness sake. The Right Stuff now over on Channel 5, and let me just start this piece by giving you a fascinating fact about The Right Stuff, which you probably won't believe, but is true. It's been on for over 16 years.
Good morning and welcome to Wednesday's show with me, Matthew Wright. It's the 26th of October, American presidential hopeful Hillary Clinton's 69th birthday, 69 years young. Looking through the diary, I also see today is Pumpkin Day.
Surely the best day for Pumpkin Day would be Halloween.
We buy 9.5 million of these things every Halloween to hollow out for lanterns.
One of the show's guests on Tuesday was a poet who was giving us his complicated but clever poem about fame.
What about, do you have any poems you could deliver for us?
Yes, I do.
OK, let's have a listen.
And this is called A Meditation on Celebrity.
Oh, dear.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Oh, the known are all known by the unknown, but the unknown unknown by the known, and the unknown unknown by the unknown, but the known are all known by the known. But when an unknown is known by enough unknown, then the unknown is now newly known. And as newly known, he is known by the known who all know what it is to be known. Yes, they know that the known must be known by the known just to show the unknown they know known, lest the unknown now know that the known that are known are no more than unknown that are known. I'm with you so far. I'm with you.
I might need to watch that a few more times, but give him his due, it is very good.
Our callers earlier, you know, the stable door and the horse bolting. You know, we've got a information technology revolution going on where people are exposed to enormous amounts of horror. I mean, you can pull up any sort of social media thing, and there's usually a spate of animals being murdered, or then you've got, you know, and it goes on and on.
Yeah, just can't move on Facebook for all those animal death videos. They're everywhere, aren't they? The Right Stuff has an interesting way of keeping its viewers across breaks, though, by posing them an interesting teaser.
Who said Gabrielle's music made him want to get up and dance? Was it the Pope, Nelson Mandela, or the Dalai Lama? Find out after the break.
I'll wait until after the break. Well, we're actually going to make you wait at home as well, so there you go.
Elsewhere, though, there was some excitement and confusion.
You might not get a full result from North Carolina because there is so much debate at the moment, as you've been discussing, about these opening, closing times of the polling stations there. So we were warned a little over an hour ago that we might not actually hear the result from there, although it could still be projected if there's a big difference.
How can you not know when you're opening and closing? I mean, you've had 2 years to prepare for this, guys.
So that's...
They didn't know the election was coming.
They forgot, you know, such an easy thing to do.
Jeremy Vine, of course, was on hand in his amazing Wizzy studio on the BBC. And he was proving that nobody seems to be able to find a picture of Donald Trump with his mouth closed.
Just have a look on the map on the floor in front of me and bear in mind...
ITV were interviewing one of the main English correspondents over in America.
It really is not just the big lie, it's the huge lie. I mean, he has actually created an alternative world which is absolutely fallacious, in which these poor Trumpkins have bought.
Trumpkins? I wonder how much we'll be hearing that phrase in the next 4 years. I suspect not at all.
Why then has she not been able to get a sort of crampon into that cliff face that he has presented her with?
An interesting use of the word crampon there. 24/7, as always, bringing you the cutting-edge political analysis.
If you could talk to her now, what would you say to her?
I'd say to her, have a big stiff drink.
Oh, I'm pretty sure she'd be having plenty of them.
Connecticut has gone to Clinton. Again, that was really heavily expected to do so. And the same is true with Delaware, but she is beginning to crank up some votes.
Can I buzz him for hesitation, repetition or deviation?
Washington, D.C. has gone to Clinton again. If you drive around Washington, you won't hear many people who are intending to vote for Donald Trump, so that's not surprising. And we've talked about the power of the internet in this election. Well, we've heard from President Obama for the first time tonight, and he posted it on Twitter.
While we've certainly seen some new things this time around, what isn't new is that our democracy has always been rowdy and raucous. We've been through tough and divisive elections before, and we've always come out stronger for it.
And don't forget to join Barack and his guests Miranda Hart and David Walliams Christmas Day at 9 on BBC One.
So, you know, we have no perfect candidate, but I can say Donald Trump is not corrupt and he's not a politician, and people are fed up with politicians.
And people would say that this toxic campaign has left this country in a state so divided.
Please believe me.
That a saint would try hard to try to pull it back together.
Another trip to Ohio for ITV, where it was still well in the balance.
As I say, there's just as much nervous tension in this room as you're seeing anywhere else. There's enormous
That TV in the background seems to be suggesting it's Hillary Clinton versus Bruce Forsyth.
And the atmosphere in this room has lifted.
Partway through the night, Piers Morgan appeared on ITV. Yes, the breakfast presenter was here to put his views forwards, and we all know how forceful they can be.
To understand the Trump success, you have to understand how detested Hillary Clinton is by many millions of Americans and how they perceive her to be incredibly untrustworthy. You have got two incredibly unpopular candidates, and right now they're scrapping it out in these swing states, and it would not surprise me, even if it may horrify people back home, it would not surprise me if Donald Trump is the President of the United States by tomorrow morning. Similarly, it would not surprise me if it's Hillary.
Well, that's cleared that up then.
Now imagine you're a journalist and you're really excited about covering the US election. Where do you want to be sent to cover this momentous occasion?
Certainly the Chinese government would probably prefer Hillary Clinton in the White House.
Hong Kong, I think we know who drew the short straw there. It's on the other side of the planet.
With her, it's a case of better the devil you know. She's well known here in China.
Now, what do you say if you haven't quite got enough time to say the word phenomenon?
Try Britain these days, Jane, or speak to this. But, you know, it's in the last year, the way in which people talk to each other in the public space in Britain, it feels like it's a, you know, quite frankly, it's a modern phenomenon. Jeremy Vine, always my favourite bit on a night like this anyway, was clearly loving it, and I was enjoying his enthusiasm for the evening.
I never mind being interrupted by the result from Ohio. I've got to tell you that. My goodness, that was sensational. And I shall come to Ohio in just a moment. So we'll look at sex and race in Ohio, white men in Ohio, gender, I should say, shouldn't I? To avoid any confusion.
Cheeky.
But I don't necessarily feel that Clinton did wrong. I think that she put up a great fight and she did a great campaign. I think that we as a country need to come together and look at where our values are and what we really want to be supporting in the future.
Some nice words there, and it is important to remember that, of course, America is going to have to come together after this, and it would have had to do that either way, I think. And that is a critical factor that it was nice to hear at that particular point in proceedings.
Briefly, one word to describe how you feel tonight. Disappointed, worried.
Yeah, I mean, there are other words out there. There's loads of words.
Concerned.
Concerned. Concerned for your country.
Concerned for my children, my country, our future.
A 24/7 favourite now, The One Show. And what makes you stay tuned to such a great tea time programme?
I'm with Brett Clegg from water company United Utilities on his 20th call out to a block sewer this week.
Sewers, brilliant.
And back at his base, Brett shows me round his very own Blockage Mountain.
Blockage Mountain? Wouldn't want to scale that.
So as a rule of thumb, what can you flush down the toilet and what can't you flush down the toilet?
It's not a pleasant subject to discuss just after tea time, but to put it quite basically, the 3 Ps, pee, poo and paper. Everything else, bag it, put it in a bin.
What a tagline that is, the 3 Ps, fantastic.
The UK water industry has its own testing standard, which is different to that of the wipes industry, and is adamant no wet wipes are flushable.
How on earth earth then can they be labelled as flushable? That is really quite interesting, isn't it? Well, the One Show had an explanation.
To be labelled flushable, wet wipes currently have to pass a technical assessment set by industry body Adana. They say they do break down, so are fine to be flushed.
Yeah, but your toilet doesn't flush for 10 minutes, does it? What sort of test is that?
So, humans then, just to change gear completely.
They kind of clean up, don't
Well,
they?
they do kind of clean up.
Holding up the One Show, of course, with Matt Baker, of course, when you get such great contrast. It's fantastic, isn't it? I mean, do synths use wet wipes? That's my question.
We'll have a bit of irony on this show. Do you want a bit now?
Go on.
This is hilarious. Dom's been done, everyone. Dom has been done.
Can you believe it? Now, of course, he will not stand for that, so he's been out fighting his very own brand battle.
Hang on, Dominic Littlewood needs help. I thought he was the king of consumer rights.
Cast your minds back a few months and you might remember I presented a report for the One Show about brand theft.
Very ugly. And if you pinch someone's brand, you can expect a call from their lawyers.
What I didn't know then was that I was about to be embroiled in my very own brand battle. Within hours of the story being broadcast, I was peppered with tweets and emails telling me my picture was being used in an advert by a company I'd never even heard of.
And Dom was certainly going to give the impersonators a piece of his. What was that? Sorry. Be back in a minute.
Colin lives in this block of flats in Bournemouth. Let's see if he's in.
Mr. Wilson, it's Dominic Littlewood from the BBC One Show.
Yeah, it's downstairs. Yeah, try downstairs. Sorry, I think you got the wrong door. One of the locals was keen to take him fishing in one of the ice-frozen lakes.
I have to say, I did do this once in Norway, and it was the most boring day of my life. Well, it was just dull.
Well, it's going to take him a while to ladle that out, isn't it?
Matt is clearly taking this very seriously. He's got some fancy bait, and what has to be the world's smallest fishing rod.
It's like a kid. I usually use a rod about 15 foot long.
Man, that's way too big.
There's a lot of water under that ice, of course, and fishing in there must be like finding a needle in a haystack.
So I lower this down, a fish will appear and tear the rod out of my hand. Oh yeah, and there goes a flying pig.
Alrighty. So you're gonna let this weight hit the bottom?
At the bottom?
Yep, you're gonna totally let it go all the way down?
Yeah, fishy, fishy. If I catch a fish doing this, I shall feel so silly. Just on the bottom.
There you go.
No,
there you go.
Hey! Good man! I never doubted you for a second.
Oh, that's proved me wrong then.
That's amazing.
This here that we have, this is a little...
That took about 30 seconds flat.
Now, what's the answer to that right stuff question from earlier on? It's been doing my head in the whole time.
So who said Gabriel's music made him want to get up and dance? The answer is Nelson Mandela.
Do you like listening to your own stuff back? Can you do that? Because most
Should
people
I be
don't
honest? No, I love, like, sometimes I forget how good some of it's like. No, that's not. I'm joking. I'm not that bad.
You're confident.
Janine on Facebook messaged in, this is brilliant. So, and we're going to show this actually. So this warning label was on my friend's new leather boots this week.
You're going to have to help us out there. I can't see that.
Remove label before microwaving. Who puts their shoes in the microwave?
You what? Oh, I knew I'd leave that on. Coast versus Country now on Channel 4 Daytime, a programme which is basically Escape to the Country or the Coast. Presenters Kerr and Sarah were looking after the interests of Mark and Patricia on Monday.
We're in Somerset, helping Patricia and Mark find their dream holiday home far away from the hustle and bustle of city life in Birmingham.
They want to find a place where they can lay down new roots here in the West Country.
But what they can't agree on is where to look.
Patricia would love to have the sea close by and she dreams of a move to the coast.
Yeah, well, that is usually where the sea's to be found.
Let's establish teams straight off the back. Who's on the countryside team?
I'm for countryside.
Winning team.
Absolutely, yes.
Brilliant. Patricia, is it going to be hard to win you round to the country team?
I don't think it's going to be really hard.
Not too hard to win you round. Don't say that. It doesn't go with the narrative of the programme.
What's the budget?
It's up to 200, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I can't realistically see them getting much of a property for £200 these days. I mean, what? 200,000? Oh, I've misunderstood that, haven't I?
I was a little bit worried about the fact that it's an apartment. I didn't know how they'd feel about that, but it doesn't seem to bother them. So if this first property's anything to go by, Sarah, you could be in trouble this time.
As always on this sort of programme, it's important to keep the audience coming back after the breaks. So what have they got to entice us to return in part 2?
Coming up, they're equally impressed with my second property.
Oh, spoiler alert!
I'm used to over-delivering. I believe in myself.
OK, good.
Even if you don't.
As long as someone does, yeah, that's the most
Drummond!
important thing.
Now, I know what you're thinking. What did Mark and Patricia make of the 6 properties on offer? Well, let's find out what they thought of the kitchen in House 2.
Oh, here's the kitchen. Well, this is a nice size, isn't it?
Very nice, yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice size, isn't it? What about the bedroom in house number 4?
Master bedroom with ensuite.
Oh, that's lovely. Nice size, isn't it?
I wonder what they made of the living room in house number 4.
Oh, this is a nice size, isn't it?
I'm detecting a pattern here. What about the upstairs bedroom of house number 4?
Oh, again, this is a nice size, isn't it?
OK, what about house number 5?
So this is your master bedroom.
Oh, this is a lovely size, isn't it?
Right, and house number 6?
Oh, this is a nice size, isn't it?
Well, that's cleared that up then.
Good sized bathroom, isn't it, for a, a period feature?
In a rather confusing fashion, despite having 3 houses from each category, they showed 2 from the coast, 2 from the country, 1 from the coast and 1 from the country, just to keep you on your toes. However, fortunately, the budget was more reasonable than is often seen on many of these house hunting programmes, and the presenters managed to just about stick to it, which is certainly testament to the show, unlike going well over a massive budget already on certain other programmes I may have already mentioned.
Hello? How did you get on?
They were certainly taken by house number 3 and decided to put a bid in for it whilst on the programme, which is incredibly rare for this type of show.
He wouldn't go a penny below 207,500. That's too high. They are prepared to offer 205, but that is their absolute max. Thank you, take care, bye-bye. All we can do is put your offer to them and see what they say.
But would the seller accept?
Hello, Aaron. How did you get on? Brilliant. Thank you so much. That's amazing news. Ah! Oh, you've done it! Oh.
You got it.
Oh, you've got it.
I can't believe it. Honestly, I can't believe it. It's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll have to go and count all my money now.
Yes, a result virtually unheard of on a property show.
Thank you for all your help.
Both of you.
And that's it for 24/7, the unseen bits. Hope you enjoyed them. Thank you very much for watching this show and the series. Goodbye.